Let's see, are we live? Yeah, we should be live. Let me double check my sound. Will be the first time I start streaming without sound. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so hey, it's TDA and we're playing some more StarRupture today, and I am in a little bit of a hurry because honestly I've been quite busy today with quite a few things, and I definitely want to get my Wolfram, I actually forgot how it's called. My copper factory, I want my copper factory up and running and redesigned. So let's see if we can make that. If you're in the chat, by the way, come and say hi, so I know you're there. I should be able to see that if I look at my screen, but it's a lot easier to track who's actually here if you actually say something. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I have this entire factory that I'm not super excited about, because mostly, yeah, I kind of need to redesign this. I want to follow the same design. Look at that. Do you see that very neatly organized factory over there? That is what we're aiming for. But we're going to do it over here. I think. Am I going to do it over here? That is the real question. So let's see. We can do it like this. The annoying part is that the ground is quite steep over here. Alternatively, what I could do is build it over there. Does that work? Actually, it's not a very nice area to work with either there. Alternatively, I could just build it over here, but there's the cliff in the way. So I'm actually thinking flipping this by 90 degrees, positioning it like that, and hopefully that should work. So let's just give that a try. I am going to have to delete a whole bunch of stuff. What's my inventory looking like? Let's see, let's sort this a little bit. Is there anything in here that we don't need? Yeah, we don't really need this. We don't... Well, actually, I do need some of this. But yeah, we can probably drop most of this, considering we're going to be replacing that in a second. We don't have a lot of normal building materials, but that we'll sort that out in a second. Let me start by removing some of the incoming lines over here. I think I'm near the end of the game, by the way. Could be wrong. Could definitely be wrong about that. Let's turn on the drone again. Taking out all this power, we'll just replace that with some of those wind power thingies. They take a lot less space, so that's nice. Speaking of space, this does open up quite a bit of space, honestly. So I could make the smelters maybe sit over here, so like something like this. Hey, Army Doc, welcome to the chat, and yeah, good morning to you. It's actually it's almost dinner time over here, but yeah, happy weekend. Let's see, would this work? Yeah, we should be able to fit in most of the smelters. Probably need to make sure I move it up a little bit, just so I leave myself enough space. Something like that. Yeah, that looks great. Well, let's see how fast we can do this. I need 4 of these things. There's a ladder in the way over there. There's gonna be a lot of things in the way, actually. But I just want to have the outline done before I start moving around too much. Now I am in the way, so hold on. There we go. Let's copy one more, and this is going to be a very neat looking Wolfram facility. At least that's the intent. That's what we're going for. Okay, that means that I need to remove a whole bunch of stuff, so we can actually clear this up. The overheat level on this thing is actually at 500. This is one of my most, like my oldest facilities. That's interesting to note that it's even just halfway. Okay, yeah, we can take that out. We can take this out. These platforms are actually connected to the new one. That's interesting. Let's make sure we take out everything that gives me building materials first. I like my building materials. And we're running quite low on those, to be honest. I'm producing them, don't get me wrong, so it's not going to be a problem. And there we go. There we go, there we go. This is going to put a lot of stuff on the ground. I'll leave those up for a moment because we are still using them in some places apparently, so those machines can keep working. And in the meanwhile, we will keep working on this. Okay, so, Wolfram plate. Look at my inventory being completely cluttered. Okay. Let's see. We have 4 smelters. Those will be making Wolfram bars from normal ore, so that's gonna be fine. And then I actually need to double check my recipes because I don't remember what stuff we want to make. Here, you can see how steep this terrain is. It looks fairly flat, but it's definitely not that. Okay, we are going to need to do a couple of things. Oh, and if you're joining for the first time, by the way, this is just a casual stream. Feel free to chime in with comments and stuff like that. I'm not really trying to show you anything in particular. I'm just playing the game, having fun, so feel free to join me to do exactly that. Okay, we need Wolfram wire and we need Wolfram plates. We mostly need Wolfram plates because I actually need those for the next stage of what I want to build. So we need 2 lines of those. We need, how much do we need? This is going to produce a half Wolfram wire per second and a half going in. So we can build 8 of these to fully utilize the production line. Wolfram plates is only, we only actually need 4 fabricators for that. Let's start with that one, that's probably the easiest. Hold on, we're going to set up 2 connectors, so that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Trying to keep up the speed this time, because I am on a clock, because dinner is going to be ready in probably a bit more than an hour or so. And we're having pizza. and nothing comes between me and my pizza. Homemade pizza even. Okay, let's see. Like that. Okay, that looks good. Let's see, how are we going to do this? Hold on, let me think. So I'm gonna set up some storage over here. I could probably do that something like that. Is that how I want to do this? Sure. I think that'll be fine. Okay, so this is going to be the ore. There we go. These are going to be the bars, and this is going to be the plate. Which again is the most important thing that I need to make at the moment, because I need those for the heat plating. But we also need to, well, we might as well just set up the Wolfram wire while we're at it. So this is going to be the outbound production line. Let me double check. Once you know what you're doing, this game is not hard. I guess that goes for all the games, but still. Let's have some storage. How much storage? Well, apparently we're just building 2, because otherwise I would need to lower the floor. Is that just sticking out? Hold on. What is going on over here? Why is there no pillars? Do I just build pillars? I mean, this actually just looks weird. Why is the thing not extending? I mean, okay. I mean, it's really weird. Okay. Anyway, we'll just deal with it. I think we won't really see this as we're going to continue to expand. So it's strange though. Haven't had that happen before. Okay. So that is the first line. Then we are going to need some wire production. Actually, let me double check the wire speed production, because we might want to set this up slightly different from what I've done before. Fabricator, there we go. Hello, where's the fabricator? There. Hey, Marlu in the chat as well. Okay, so let's see. Wolfram wire. This is going to produce at 0.5 per second. So if we build 8 of those, should be fine. So we could just make. Oh, that's not what I want to do. We could just make 2 lines, or 3 lines even, in front of this one, and just go for a bit of a different layout, because I can definitely not extend this any further in that direction. It's just gonna look bad. So if we copy paste that and we just duplicate the build we had in the back, then we can do it like that. And we can do this. Let's flip that around. Is that aligned? Oh, now it's not. So that should be fine. And let's take in some more of those. Yeah, these look a lot better. Oh yes, we're speed building now. This is going a lot faster than what we've done yesterday. Okay, before I lose count, this is the second line. So then we will have to... Oh. Sometimes when you try to go too quickly, you actually end up slowing yourself down. Okay, there we go. That was just my bad. I'm so bad at this game, apparently. There we go. Okay, and we're almost done actually with this part of the build. Well, other than connecting 5 billion belts. But yeah, this should work fine. And then we want to have some more storage, which we'll just place over here. And then all I need to do, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, so that's the one we need. This is going to produce wire. That's gonna produce wire. Let's actually dump the wire in the some of the bars in here to clear up my inventory, otherwise I'll just drop it on the ground anyway. More wire. There we go. More wire here. And some more wire over here. And then the final line. And then this one. I see we have my family joining in chat as well. Okay, let's see. If I set this up? Nope, that's the wrong one. This one. Okay, this is going to store the wolfram wire. This is also going to store a wolfram wire. Oh, it's actually not showing up because it's not connected yet. That's fine, we can pick it from the list. Helps that the recent list is actually a really nice quality of life thing that makes it easier to duplicate these things. And this was going to go to store up the plates. Okay. And then all we need is some power. Oh, and we need some incoming ore, actually. So let's set that up first. Am I going to set up? Yeah, I might as well set up the power again over here. But I'm out of building materials, so let's go and grab some of those. It's a recurring theme, running out of building materials at this point. Might actually be fairly easy to do something about it in the moment, but let's stick a second one in here actually. And let's make sure... How fast are you producing? So this is producing 5 per second. So actually, if we upgrade the rail, we should get more production out of that. There we go. And then to make things... Where's that going? Okay. Not sure how that happened. Every now and then the game is like, yeah, we'll just place the belts in a place you can't actually see, but apparently you're targeting anyway. Okay, so that's one, and that's two, and then we should have a boatload of that stuff coming up. Level 2? Yeah, level 2. Okay, so, power where? I think I'll just keep that over here. I do need to get rid of these things, because these belts are messed up now anyway. Oh right, we actually, because I intended to use this, we actually need to delete this factory here in the back as well. So, let's go and do that. I already like the organization that's starting to come up.
The cargo reached its destination. Selenium thanks you for the order. Your work is restoring their faith in the prison system.
Okay, that's a lot of wolfram powder. And then 1, 2, 3. Actually, I don't know. Do we have more locations here? So we have 1, 2, 3. So I kind of need to redirect this as well. Huh. Let's do that though. So let's remove that one for a moment. And then what I'll do is this. And let's get a tier 2 belt. Be able to reach right here. That's fine. Let's do it like this, and then we'll have a real connector over here. Like so. Let's see, that one will go over there. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically making a split off point so that some of this ore is going to go into production of the building materials, and if I don't need it, then we're probably going to deal with that in some different way pretty soon, but for the moment I do need to make sure we actually continue to build building materials, because well, otherwise I can build stuff. But yeah, this will do for now. Let's see, we are going to need one of you over here. And then one of you over there. And then connect everything now.
I'm detecting increased Ruptura activity.
The wave is already coming in. I do kind of want to finish this though. The main important thing is then, it's so annoying that you can't use your drone if there's a wave incoming. Other than the fact that it doesn't make sense that you can't use your drone when there's a wave incoming, it's also extremely annoying. Especially if you're trying to quickly finish a base so it can actually start producing stuff. Okay. So that should connect 4 of my ore producers to this initial main line. I can hear the rumbling of the incoming wave. Okay, so that's the bars being produced. Then we're going to connect this up like that. This is going to flow in here, I think, yes. And then this is going to go in here, this is going to go in here, and that is going to go in there. Okay, okay, we'll have to go inside. And while we're there, we might as well pick up whatever we just unlocked. I actually don't remember what it is. Let's see. A large habitat. Okay. Not the most useful thing, but the mega press after that might be more interesting, so we can actually automate making the advanced building materials. I'm wondering though.
Eruption has started. Prepare for
this
impact.
only accepts electronics and synthetic silicon. Okay. We're about halfway through, or 3/4 through the blue corporation level as well. That's nice. I might have just stopped the production of stabilizers though, because I messed up the incoming Wolfram stuff. Toasty. So anyway, anyone have any plans for this weekend? This is mine, like you might have remembered from yesterday. But yeah. It's really impressive how fast things grow back on this planet. They have evolved for a maximum evolution, apparently. Which makes you wonder, why don't they grow up even further, considering how quick that goes. I like that you can easily tell when it's okay to go outside because of the color of the air. Basically, as soon as it turns from fire to dust, like that, you can go outside and it should be fine.
Planetary temperature returning to normal.
Okay. That is very hot and toasty. How are we doing on building materials? Oh, just fine. Okay. So, the idea is that this line goes through the storage, so I can also use this as a secondary line. But it also feeds into this first line whenever it needs it. Which means, let's see, which direction should this be moving? I don't think that really matters. It's probably going to end up being the same. But yeah, this should go that way. I need to be careful about this because I've messed that up before. If you mess up the direction of your belts, then stuff doesn't work. I mean, that's not rocket science, but it is something to be aware of if you're doing a bit more finicky builds like this. Okay, so that should all be working. I see the resource already going in, so that's fine. And this is the outgoing belt for this stuff. That is going to go in there, through here, and then into the storage. That's fine. So we should see that, yeah, exporting over there. It's working perfectly. So these don't actually need to be connected up because those are the incoming line for this. It's pretty clean. Hold on, this actually needs to be a splitter. In which case I might as well place it over here. Then we need another one of those over here, and we need another one of those over here. Okay, so that should work. How am I doing on time? This is actually going very quick. Not racing anyone, of course, but it's nice to know that after about 15 hours of figuring out how to build stuff in this game, I'm starting to be a little bit efficient about that. Is this working? It is not working. Why is it not working? Oh, that's because I am... Actually, I don't know. Why is this not working? Hold on. Oh, that's because I'm requesting the wrong resources. This should be bars. Okay, hold on. There we go. We have some of those bars in here, so we might as well dump them in here. Anything else? Oh, okay. Okay, those are working. Great. Another real question. Actually, let me double check. How fast does this produce? This is just 2 per second, so we can go up to, is it 2 per second? Yeah, we have 4 of those. It's a half per second, so it's 2 per second. So 2 of those is 4 per second, which is the maximum we can have on a single belt. Okay. Then I think we should be fine as we connect this up. So, hey, Catherine? Catherine D? Catherine? It's always interesting to see how names show up on YouTube. Compared to, for example, Discord, where people usually have, well, often have names that you can easily pronounce. Yeah, this is StarRupture. It is very much like Satisfactory. It's a little bit more streamlined, so it's not quite as, what do you say that? You can't make as large of builds as you can in Satisfactory, but at the same time, depending on what you want, of course, that's either a pro or a con, considering, yeah, Satisfactory is a bit much for some people. But it is very similar. I do really like this game, by the way. It's in early access, so it isn't completely finished just yet. Okay, that looks good. But it's also not very expensive. I think it's like 20 euros, $20, depending on where you are. So that is not nothing, but it's definitely affordable, and I've already been playing this for 15 hours, and there's a lot more content to come. So, in terms of value for money, I think this game does just fine. Yeah, we have some resources coming in here as well. I am producing a lot of things at the same time, so this production line is not going to be optimized yet. And that's also kind of not the point. Is there a cancel button? Q. Oh, but that just pops me out of production or construction all the way. Interesting. That's something I would like to see different, to be honest. Okay. So that should work. And then we have the final line over here, which I guess didn't have to be a splitter, but okay. Yeah, this is the input line. I also need to make sure I finish the output line on the other one. I'm in the flow now, I'm in the flow. We're doing input lines, apparently. Catherine, yeah, I figured. It's always a bit, when you see names that are not obviously like full names, it's a bit dangerous to assume you know how to pronounce things sometimes. Not that I'm pronouncing anything correctly with my accent, probably, but that's okay. Yeah, I actually had the same thing with Satisfactory. The first time, actually the first few times I've played it, I never finished it. I got through the early stages of the game, like I guess most people do, and then I got completely overwhelmed, which is the sheer size of some of the builds that you need to make at that point, or that I was trying to make, which is actually why I made a playthrough on this channel at some point. I think I called it like bite-sized Satisfactory or something like that, where I tried to make like small builds that you could do in maybe 1 or 2 evenings, rather than like massive builds that you see a lot of other YouTubers doing that require dozens and dozens of hours of work. I also made a guide, by the way, for that's completely intended for people to actually finish the game, just step by step, minimized builds, not overdoing it, still making things look pretty. So if you haven't actually still finished the game, then you might want to give that a look. No pressure, of course, but I've heard back from several people that thanks to that playthrough and the guidance that came along with it, they were actually able to finish the game. It's a 100% guide, by the way, includes all the achievements. So I kind of made that for myself to be like, okay, I want to finish this game, and I want to do all the achievements so I can say I'm done with Satisfactory. But yeah, of course you don't necessarily need to do the same, and there's no pressure, honestly, to finish any game. Once you're done, you're done, and that's sometimes fine too. I think this is it, right? So we have the. Should probably clean some of this up, so we can actually get around. So let's make a few platforms over here. I mean, I know I can jump this. Now we can cruise through. Okay, so I'm still a little annoyed that for some reason this platform decided to float. So Catherine, if you haven't seen this game before, for example, platforms in this game don't actually float. This one does, I don't know why. But everything else automatically gets built on pillars, and pillars do have a maximum height. So if I want to build a smelter like over here, I can move up. But yeah, as soon as you go beyond a certain height, you just can't build it anymore. And you can also not build multiple levels. Although I had someone in the chat yesterday that told me that, no, I figured out how to build multiple levels. And I think he was talking about this. You can actually stack pillars up. But the thing with that is that it's a lot of work to actually build something on top of that. So as you can see over here, now I can build something up very high. But it is finicky, to say the least, because I don't think you can reverse this process. So let's say I build a pillar here, just to make this look better. Now this pillar doesn't actually stack or connect with the platform. So yeah. Early access just came out a couple of weeks ago, I think, but this is something I would like to see slightly changed. I don't mind the fact that you can build multiple stories, honestly, but the verticality that you do need to deal with could be a little bit more streamlined, I think. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have Wolfram wire.
Stable.
We have the plate.
Stable.
And we have the bars. Why is this backing up? I mean, it should be backing up, right? That's just because I guess when they need to merge the two lines, it slows them down a little bit, it seems. It's really a problem. Okay, let me dump some of my inventory in the actual store. Oh, this is already full. You can see how fast you can produce in this game. Okay, actually I don't have much wire to dump in here. There we go. Oh, I'm not producing wolfram powder yet. That is a thing we're going to need. So now we have this all. Oh, actually we can dump some of the wire in here, I guess. No, the wire I just said I didn't have. Okay, anyway, there we go. That's fine. This machine is no longer doing anything. We do have storage over there, so let's keep the stators in place. Is this still working? Yeah. Always need to double check since I just disconnected a whole bunch of power that I have sitting over here. I am going to clean up some of my inventory because this is a bit messy. Let's keep that on us. I do think I need wolfram powder to make ammunition. Yeah, there's angry bugs in this game as well, just like in Satisfactory. It's spiders, so you know, not everyone's going to enjoy that. So this is a building material, and let's make a whole bunch of ammo. That's probably too much ammo, but then again,
Arcadia 7 has finished regenerating.
I don't think you can have too much ammo to begin with. Okay, this is no longer working. Hold on. Yeah, we're just gonna do some cleanup now. And then we'll need to set up the more advanced production once again. Do I care about the fact that this factory is no longer working? Like, I kind of care. But I want to redo that factory anyway as well. Okay. Let's just leave it and work with what we have right now. let me double check. I'm working towards getting heat shields up and running. Double checking the recipe, what we need for that. Yeah, we need titanium sheets. We have glass in production already. We have wolfram plates now in production, so we just need the titanium sheets. But I also kind of... Oh, hold on. Wolfram powder is also made from wolfram bars. So yeah, so just to complete the line, this is going to produce 1.5 per second. So 3 of these are actually already going to fill up an entire production line. Wolfram powder is really easy to make. So let's just put that in front here. I think this will need to move. There we go. Let's not park myself in that corner. I thought I was being smarter, getting out of the way, but you can actually build yourself into a position where you need to delete stuff again because you can't move anymore. Okay, that's just going to be another incoming line. Again, using the exact same inputs. Now, you might be wondering, do you have enough raw production to feed all of these lines? The answer is no, but in this game, you're not utilizing all of your production all the time. So that is actually an efficient way to get through this game. You can build a lot of factories and make that scale up really quickly if you want, but it is not the most efficient way. I found out after like 15 hours of playing this game. Okay. The storage is now in the way, officially. It hurts a bit to remove this, but so much resources going to waste. And again, it's not like we don't have infinite resources anyway. Let's just dump them on the ground here. I might need to check back on the other area where I was building yesterday. See if those resources on the ground now disappeared. I think they did, actually. I would expect them to be gone. Let's put it like that. But we haven't tested it out yet. Yeah, there's a lot of... Basically, every single enemy I've seen in this game have been spiders. They're jumpy spiders. They jump up, like, onto very high buildings. They are quite aggressive, and anyone with arachnophobia does not want to play this game. Let's put it like that. I get why developers pick spiders. I think they're relatively easy to make, honestly, for games. And they're scary. So, I mean, if that's your goal, then that makes sense. But, yeah, people that don't like spiders are not going to enjoy this very much. Let's see. Wolfram powder. More wolfram powder. And wolfram powder. Let's make wolfram powder. Okay. So that should work. And we once again need to connect this up. So you can actually see this happening already. So all the other buildings have now completely filled up their inventories and they're no longer requesting bars. And the conveyor belts in this game are smart conveyor belts. So there's only going to be stuff on your conveyor belt if it has a actual destination. So there is a building on that line that actually requests that. So you can see I connected this one up. And there you go. The storage is now unloading resources into that building, and it will stop doing that as soon as this building is completely satisfied. Which makes for a very efficient way of setting things up. Because you can thereby automatically redirect whatever you're producing to where it needs to go. Which is why you don't need massive factories, as long as you take that into account while setting up your own factories. Which is kind of what I'm doing now by the redesign. I was initially playing this like Satisfactory, where you kind of need to just put a production, and then you will need more production, and you'll increase that, and so on and so on. That's not the way to go forward with this one. Okay, that is storage, and that storage actually doesn't work until I assign it, so wolfram powder, wolfram powder, wolfram powder, and you guessed it, more wolfram powder. Okay, so we have that set up now. How are we doing on power on this line, actually? So we're using 360 out of the 830 power that we have in here. How is that 800? Where's the 30 coming from? Are there solar panels hiding in this? Ah, there are solar panels hiding in it. I was about to say, it should be a flat 800. Because I have several of those wind turbines, 4 of them to be exact. We don't need these anymore, so we might as well reutilize some of these building materials. It's a lot more efficient to build turbines rather than the other ones. Okay, so. Oh, look at that. Doubling up on the belt speed on this thing has increased the amount of these base materials a lot. The production speed of these base materials. Well, not the production speed, but the actual output of this fabricator is now more optimized. Okay, so let's see, what are we doing? Let me check, double check. Are we done here? That looks pretty organized, I would say. Yeah. Yeah, looking really good. We have the output there. Again, my stray facilities are starting to kind of annoy me. This one actually is fairly okay. I'm not sure if I set that up exactly like I'm doing now with this one and with this one. But it's gonna be pretty close. I might have to revisit that soon, but while we're here I am going to readdress that one, I think. I might as well just delete this one now, so we have a bit more open space to work with, and it's not an eyesore anymore. A lot of building materials back as well, by the way. Interesting building mechanic, by the way, in this game. Not sure if I mentioned that today already. You delete several buildings of the same type. It speeds up, so it makes actually deleting larger builds like this a lot faster. Wait, let's take out the buildings. Once again, so many resources going to waste there. But they drop on the ground somewhere. I think it's around me, actually. Yeah, let's just kill the stators as well. Okay. That's fine. We'll clean out these lines in a second. I don't think that's actually connected to anything anymore. I was getting stuck in the resources on the ground. And then I that only took me like how long? How long have I been streaming? I can actually see. Oh, about 45 minutes. Okay, so that build took me 45 minutes-ish. A little less, actually. Can I reach that from here? Yes, I can. There we go. Okay, so now that's clean. Yeah. So I'm gonna rinse and repeat with the titanium, so we have everything neatly set up. This is almost neatly set up, but not quite. Again, let me dump some stuff on the floor. I do really hope this is just gonna go away. Is there an easier way to drop stuff on the floor? I don't know. I actually don't know. I do need. I'm gonna keep the tubes on me, actually. Not sure where those came from. But I think I can use some of these materials to actually unlock. Work my way towards unlocking new stuff. So let's see. Not gonna unlock anything there yet. So yeah, you unlock new. You don't misclick. You unlock new resources, or new recipes, I should say, by spending some of the materials you have on them. And once they're unlocked, they're unlocked. So there we go. Some of the stuff we have in production. Everything else can just go away now. This is actually a slightly larger build. Just making sure I delete the stuff that I just get resources back from first, rather than all kinds of other stuff that might be stuck in there. This one is empty. Again, there's a lot of solar panels that are an inefficient way to produce power at this point. Never thought I would say that solar panels are an inefficient way to make power. In most games, it's like the one thing I need. The one thing I want is solar power in all of my games. Some stabilizers in there, okay. And now we're gonna clutter up our inventory again, but that's okay. It's okay. Actually, yeah, we can actually leave those smelters there. I could have probably left some of this other stuff up as well, but since I'm deleting it now anyway. Because this layout was nearly how I wanted it to be. Not entirely, but it was close. That was actually my my first rebuild, so I just started playing the game. And then I figured like, okay, this is not efficient, and I deleted everything I built. Made this build that I'm currently deleting. And then after a little while I figured, okay, that's still not optimal, so then I reiterated to the other titanium base that is in the distance over there. Can't really see it, but that was slightly better, not perfect. And then the, what was it, fourth rebuild, I guess, is the build we are making now. And I do think that is the final one. I haven't found any single problem with it, and it makes it extremely easy to do all the other things. Okay, so I need to do something about my hydration. There's a survival mechanic in this game that is pretty trivial, but yeah, you do still need to actually think about it, because otherwise you will die. Dying is not a problem in this game. You can just respawn, and there's actually a mechanic in the game like that, like an canon way, a reason why you get back up if you die. It's a nice touch, I think. Let me double check. How many nodes do we have over here? Just 3, right? Yeah. The other base had 4, I believe? I actually don't remember. It might have also been 3. Yeah, so I am going to set this up slightly different. Let me delete you. Copy you. Set you up in a slightly different orientation. So since we have only 3, that means we only need 3 smelters as well, because it's a 1-to-1 ratio with smelters and miners. There we go. Speaking of which, I do need to make sure I upgrade these things, because these are just Mark 1s. I didn't actually have the Mark 2s yet when we started this. Obviously. Which is also going to hold for these. There we go. Many inputs technically should be upgraded as well, but it's not a big deal. They will work just fine. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That means we can delete these. I am once again gonna make a double line. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, once again a double line. And then we are going to do some production. So these are going to be the bars. We have the fabricator. Let me remind myself what we can build in that. We have the titanium rods. We have the titanium bars. Sorry, beams and sheets. So we need 3 of each. We have 3 per second titanium bar inputs. So that means we... let's see, this needs a half. So we need 6 rods. 6 fabricators making rods. We can actually make 9 of them making beams. Because it's only going to take 1/3. And then we only need 3, I guess. Because this is one... Oh, no, sorry, this is actually a half. So this is going to be another 6 with sheets. Okay. So 6, 6, and 9. I might just keep the beams to 6 just to keep it looking clean. I don't think we need that many beams, honestly. I actually haven't seen that we needed it for anything else. And even if we do, I think we'll survive. So, fabricators. Swap, 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 swap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I built them all at the wrong height. That's a shame. We do want everything to be aligned. Let me double check. There we go. Number 4, 5, 6. Why isn't this aligned? I don't know. I must have had a reason for misaligning that when I first built it, but yeah. It definitely should no longer be the case. There we go, that's the inputs. Then this is going to be the output. And an input line as well. It's super easy to set everything up once you know what you're doing. Nope, that's not the one I wanted though. Well, I need to get a bit closer if I want to continue the 2 builds. So let's see, 1, 2, 2. Yep, okay, so we need more fabricators. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for 3 lines of 6. We can always expand the beam production if we really need to, but honestly I might just set up a secondary facility if that's the case. At the other location that I just mentioned. I'm gonna have that work like that. That will just make sure this one looks as clean as we can keep it. Okay, and that's it for the fabricators. Well, let's set up some stores as well. Let's make sure it's properly aligned. Okay, that's it. And we're rushing through this for real now. It's actually going faster than I expected it to. Even though I'm kind of just rebuilding stuff I already had, just to reorganize things, it's going to make everything else much more efficient. Now, let me check, because that was the factory, the fabricator production. Yeah, we also need titanium housing for the furnace. So, you know, let's just add a... We actually need an input line first. Hold on. And this needs to be a double input line. I'm so happy I found out about being able to shift this down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that needs to be a double input line because we actually need 2 of the other resources in there. Let's remove this because this is going to get in the way. And then the furnace. Actually, haven't done the math if this is going to be overkill or not. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter if that's the case. Because that's where the power of my storage comes in. As long as I get out of the way of my own build. There we go. Okay. Almost done. We need, of course, some output line here as well. Okie dokie. And then we're probably going to need to add in some power. We can probably sneak that in. Maybe actually over there. Because I'm actually going to connect all of this up. So, yeah. Let's see. So because this platform connects to this rail and these windmills are connected to that platform, the rails actually conduct power. So all of this power is going to go into my Wolfram facility over here, but as long as I have something connecting, so either a platform, a rails, or a combination of those two things, the power will also flow into this facility. And what I'm going to do is, because I need some of the titanium ore to produce building materials, I am going to set that up like this. I'm going to need 1 more of those. I am going to set that up over here. And then this is going to flow in here. Hold on. Would be nice if you snap to the correct thing. There we go. And then that's going to connect to this. And there we go. This is already working. And now, because if I connect this one up to that, everything else is also powered. There we go. And you can see if things are powered from the platforms themselves as well, by the way. So it's you have so many indicators to see whether or not something is powered. That is, it's actually really convenient. Okay, now I just need to do, you know, 1,000 rails. And recipes, actually. So let me start by doing the recipes, because I am going to forget that. And that also allows us to double check whether or not things are working. So this was making, let's say, the bars. Bars. More bars. What do we actually need for tubes? Oh, we actually need another row of fabricators for the tubes. Okay. That's fine. So we are making rods. It's actually rods, it's not bars. I'll do the storage in a second. That's the last thing we're going to do. This is going to be the sheets. More sheets. Even more sheets. So we actually need beams and housing, okay. Okay, so those are the sheets. Then we have the beams. More beams. Even more beams. There we go. And then over here we were making the housing, which needs the sheets and the beams, so that makes sense. And then so actually hold on. If I would really want to optimize this, I should have done this slightly different. Because if I make the rods and the sheets first, and then I make the tubes from those, then the belt spaghetti is going to be a little less than what it otherwise would be. But that kind of means we can actually still do that. But then I do need to shift some things around. So I'm making beams here, I'm making sheets here, but if I set this to rods instead, I was trying to save myself some time while still optimizing my facility. So we're gonna change this to rods. Still gonna end up with a minimum amount of spaghetti, but it's better than having to redo the entire build. So this back line is going to be... Okay, hold on. Let me double check if I did it correctly now. This is rods, yes. This should be sheets, yes. And then this is going to be the beams instead. We might actually utilize a transporter in a very short distance. We'll see. Okay, but if this is the beams instead, then we can... Oh, hold on. We can replace these furnaces with fabricators. And then we can make the tubes there instead. So then this is going to be the output. I could probably have left the other output line there. But then we have the furnaces making the other stuff from the beams, so we're going to need... Yeah, we are going to need another line of these for furnaces. We are going to do this. This is a pretty large build. I forgot how much stuff you actually make from titanium. There we go. Now we have the furnaces in front of those. Let me make sure that's aligned. There we go. And then we need some storage So it's a bit of work, but the good news is now we have a whole bunch of base materials. Look at that. I mean, I still need to add in a billion rails, but this is looking pretty organized. But speaking of rails, I need one more line, of course, for the output. Hold on. Rail connector. There we go. And there we go. Okay, let me set the recipes on these new machines as well. So, what were we making over here? These were the tubes, right? Yeah. So these were the tubes. Tubes, more tubes. Lots of tubes. And then over here, what are we doing here? We are making the titanium housing. Also, this game has double jump, people. It's so nice. Okay. So, all the recipes have been set. Now, all I need to do is connect everything up. Okay. Just thinking for a moment if what direction I should go with this. I don't think it matters. Actually, yes, it does. Okay, hold on. Doesn't matter here. Well, it does matter, but this only has to go in one direction. So now we have those raw resources coming in. That is working like intended. This needs to go in this direction, which this one is not. So I do need to replace this one. But then this is the first place that can go. And yeah, that is working just fine. Make that a little bit more efficient by making these interconnections just because I can. Okay. This is going to work just fine. I already forgot what I'm making here, but that's not super important at this point. Well, I say that, but that's not entirely true. It'll be fine though. In hindsight, I might have wanted to make some of these storage units on the other side, but well, at the same time, it might actually be convenient to have it on that side. And I'll show you why in a moment. Well, actually, the reason why I think it's convenient to have everything on the same side, if you just want to grab some stuff, it helps when everything is on the same side, obviously. It just makes it easier to find things. But yeah, this is the output line. So these were the beams, I believe. After we recalibrated them. Okay, you can see these machines are already working, so that's good. Then we are going to need another one of those. We need one over here, and we need one over here. I think that's it, yeah. So the bars that we're producing over here are going to go into, well, the machines over here, so this line, you can see them feeding from the bars. But I'm also going to split this off, and this is why the direction on this this did matter. Because basically what's going to happen is I'm gonna divert this over here. Let me make sure this is nicely aligned though, just to keep things clean. There we go. So those raw resources can go in here, as well as in here. And once I start connecting this up, we should see some of those resources being diverted to the other direction. Yeah. Which also means the machines are working, because there would not be any resources on that conveyor belt or rail, whatever you want to call it, if there wasn't actually demand for those resources. So it's not impossible, but it is very hard to mess up your conveyor belts in this game, as in get stuff on there that you don't want on there. It would be possible if I now change the recipe in this machine, but as long as you don't do that, it should be fine. Okay. And then if I connect this one up, we should see some of the resources being rediverted to that line as well. And yeah, there we go. Okay, that is working. So we have that output line, we have this output line, so I need to connect this up. And again, those 3 ore thingies over there are not sufficient to fuel the entire facility, but the entire facility is not intended to function with all of these machines at the same time, because you simply don't need all the production at the same time either. You will be changing between what you are demanding, which is also where the storage comes in, because in this game it actually makes sense to put up some of that storage, so you are having your machines work as efficient as possible most of the time. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. This is all working. We should see some of the output going. Oh yeah, I was like, I am forgetting something. I forgot to connect up the actual storage. Okay.
Rupture activity detected.
Oh, fine.
I recommend finding a safe place.
We have another eruption in a little bit, and that means I can no longer use my drone, which is, like I said before, kind of annoying. Okay. Oh, yeah guys, I just heard that my pizza is ready, so that means that, like I said, we were in a bit of a clock, but we managed to complete, well, almost complete both builds. So that is going to set a very nice starting point for the next episode, where I really want to start expanding. So that will probably be tomorrow at some point, probably around 11 CAT. I'll probably start streaming a little bit in the morning. But it's weekend, so things might go in a different plan. I also need to go to the gym tomorrow, actually. I'm not entirely sure when we're going to do that. So, yeah, I'll be on when I am, but you can always watch the VOD, of course. If you are here, then you are awesome, and thank you very much for joining me. It was quite fun to be building a little bit with you guys while we stare at the beautiful eruption that is about to happen. The wave is going to come in about half a minute at this point, and when that happens, I am going to end the stream, and I will catch you in the next one. I do think the eruptions are quite beautiful. They're quite deadly, but they are quite beautiful to watch. The first time that happened, I was so mesmerized by the actual eruption that I died. I was outside, not realizing I should have been inside instead. I was like, I'll just stand behind a little bit of stone, but yeah, as you can see, just hiding a little bit behind stone is not going to... Anyway,